Welcome to Almost Agreeable.
Almost Agreeable.
With your hosts, Chris Nellison and Ed Harris. Hang around and listen to opinions on sports, movies, music, and whatever else pops in our head.
All right, and welcome back to another episode of Almost Agreeable. I'm one of your hosts, Chris, and with me as always is Ed. Today we're going to hop back on the NFL train as the season approaches. Going to be rounding out the AFC here in the next couple of weeks. Today we're talking about the AFC West and the AFC South.
Got a double for him.
Right. I mean, I could talk football all day, so this is like especially with the lack of preseason games and stuff like that. This is not kind of nice to be able to talk about it.
Yeah, it's, I was talking with a future guest today.
Right.
And he was saying that it's difficult right now to get people together for fantasy football. Just because people are having different views or just not really caring about the season as much, or just maybe kind of, especially in money-driven leagues, they don't really want to dedicate to something when it's a little bit harder. You haven't seen any preseason games. You haven't seen any of this.
You don't know who's going to be performing. Obviously, you have your big names of who you're going to draft every year. But other than that, you don't have an opportunity to kind of see who could be the dark horses that you could draft. But also, I'm noticing that in the lockout shortened season that we had, where the season, they eventually played it, but they didn't have an extensive training camp. The ramp up was very slow, very similar to what's happening now. And players are getting hurt like they did in that slow ramp up season.
Yeah.
So you can kind of see the effects of not having a sufficient OTAs, training camp, preseason games. You can see that kind of taking its toll on the athletes' bodies. It's kind of the same kind of approach I felt when the NBA re-entered their bubble, right, and restarted their season. It was how are their bodies going to respond? And with football, it's a whole different animal, knowing the full contact, the full speed, these 250-pound, 6-foot guys hitting each other. Your body needs to adapt to that. And the OTAs, didn't have any. Preseason games, full contact, not having any. We're just going to get thrown into a season here in a couple weeks that I'm going to fucking watch it, but I'm also a little leery of the quality of the product we're going to see. I feel like the first few games of the season are going to be like preseason games. Coaches are going to know that there's more stakes, but they're going to say, I have to throw these guys into game situations to see how they work together. And they have to take maybe a couple games at the beginning of the season to do that. Would you agree?
Well, I think it might get viewed that way, but it is going to mean that these early games are extremely important. I don't think they're going to be viewed like preseason games. Maybe they will be, but that's going to be the kind of decider, who wins early is going to be really standing out on top, because there's going to be rust, because things are completely different right now.
Right.
So there's going to be rust, but I think it's the people who are going to win early that are going to keep winning, honestly.
Okay. Well, with that being said, that's kind of how I feel going into the season, but let's get into one of these divisions. Who do you want to start with?
Oh, let's start with AFC South.
Okay, let's go with the AFC South. We have the Colts, the Texans, the Titans, and the Jaguars.
Yeah.
Standout team in that division right now, I want to say, is the Texans.
Yeah.
But we're just going to go ahead and trade DeAndre Hopkins because I'm Bill O'Brien and I don't know what I'm Bill O'Brien and I'm doing what?
The Texans have quietly been winning that division the last 6 years. Not straight, but they've been quietly kind of dominating that division.
They've had success in the division, yes. But
they never go anywhere with it.
And it's sad because, I don't know, I really like Deshaun Watson. Obviously, he's great. I just can't believe, if you're Bill O'Brien, that you take away something that, is going to help progress and move Deshaun's game forward. You don't want Deshaun to spend all the time he's spending running the ball around like that. It's bad for your quarterback's longevity. Having Hopkins, running down the sideline or running slants that's good for your quarterback. That's good for a developing quarterback. So you take that away. You have Will Fuller left now, who moniker has always been a game changer, but also he can't stay healthy. What's the plan here? What's the plan?
I don't know. That was their guy. I don't think he was coming up on like a contract year, was he? Like,
no,
it's not
I
like
think there was
they're
just
gonna have to shell
rumblings,
out.
like rumblings of him saying he wanted to get paid more, like maybe a restructure of a contract. Because I don't think he was coming to the end of a contract or anything.
But he just, I mean, you like to have a guy, you like to have a big name on your team. I mean, this Bill is not the other Bill.
And there's been a couple bills that...
There's been a couple bills.
This is not a good bill.
This is not any of not one of the two bills.
This wouldn't be a guy I would say, William. This isn't a William.
This is William O'Brien.
This is just a Bill. Because William Belichick, distinguished, very regal.
No way. No one likes that.
William Belichick.
No.
William Parcells.
He's Bill Belichick. He's Bill Parcells. This is William O'Brien.
Oh, so we're reversing it now.
We're reversing it for
William,
sure.
okay.
This guy's a William.
Will.
Yeah.
Will O'Brien.
Will O'Brien.
Will O'Brien.
Is that like that sounds like an actor for some reason.
Will
O'Brien.
Will O'Brien.
Is that a guy? I don't know. Whatever. Either way,
it kind of rolls off the tongue. I kind of like it.
Yeah, it sounds nice, but either way, the guy's not. I don't know what his game plan is.
Well, I guess it makes me think that this is one of the reasons you don't have your coach also be your GM, like the president of football operations. Like, you don't do that. Unless you're one of the Bills.
Yeah. It's not a common thing. I mean, we've seen it happen in a couple different instances, but it's usually not crazy successful.
Only I can see is with Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
That's about it. Can you name anyone else that's been like a...
I can't think of any other ones. I swear that maybe there are, but I don't know. Clearly that just speaks to how hard it is to do.
To be successful doing it.
Yeah.
Yes. So, I mean, do you see them having similar success they've had in the last few years? Like, do you see them continuing this streak in the division?
I mean, yeah, I really do. I still see them kind of leading the pack in this division, but
because I guess I don't see the Jaguars doing anything. But Tennessee's also in this division.
They are, and now they're working with Tannehill. Like, that works. But the Texans, they still have a lot of good pieces. They still have a lot of great pieces. It's just getting over. I'm not sure if Watson has won a playoff game, but it's getting over that hump. I think you break that, and it kind of propels you. It gives you a taste of like, okay, you know what winning in the postseason looks like.
Feels like, looks like, I guess when you've only had disappointments like they've had, those kind of things can take its toll, like on your psyche, right? In like a mental capacity, you're kind of just like, it's like getting beat.
Yeah.
And he's kind of going to get skittish. It's like I would equivocate it to like having an injury to one of your legs, and now you're afraid to put pressure on that leg or take a sack or get hit.
It's a
when you get
mental
to the
thing.
playoffs, it's like going to the dentist. You're like, it's unpleasant, and you don't remember how terrible it is until you get there. Right?
And then you're like, oh yeah, like this pressure is a lot. It just mounts,
right.
And
especially when they have you, like when you're having conversations about Deshaun Watson, like who are you putting him in the same breath with, right? Like I hear people say Russ. He's in the contract year with Lamar. They're gonna have the same contract year, so he's in the same breath as Lamar when they're talking about it. So it's like when you have that pressure also thrown into where they think you should be here because they're throwing you into the tier of these quarterbacks. It's like added pressure that.
Yeah.
But what can you do with Bill O'Brien as your fucking
I don't
coach,
know.
man?
Mean, what like grade would you give Deshaun Watson coming into this season? Like, where do you rank him?
Like in as far you want to give him like a grade, like from A to F.
Yeah.
I see him coming out a solid B+.
Okay.
If he can stay healthy.
If he could stay healthy, he hasn't had a huge problem with it, but you don't want it to turn into something.
Well, I always
else.
say that with quarterbacks that are mobile like that.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I don't want to say anything. I don't want to jinx anybody.
You
like,
never wish anything bad like onto somebody, but it is just statistically running like mobile quarterbacks do get hurt more.
Right.
That's just what happens.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
I don't want to put that out there. Like you just said, like I hate seeing players get hurt. Like when Mahomes got hurt a couple times last season.
Yeah.
As much as I fucking hate being in the division with him, I hate it. I hated that he was hurt more than I hate him. Does that make sense?
Just But I think they do relatively well. I mean, he's the best quarterback in that division.
Okay, yes, he is. He was. He still is. And we have a new quarterback in that division now.
Old Crimea River?
Oh, past his prime, Philip Crimea River. Yeah, him.
Oh, freaking.
Let's not let the audience know how much I hate him.
Freaking gosh dang.
Oh, that's right. He also doesn't curse.
He does not curse.
Him and Derek both.
They do not swear.
They don't swear.
The old.
He also has 19 kids or something?
He has 9 kids.
9 kids.
Because their family together could fill out a football team.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's probably why he's still in the league as old as he is. He's waiting for his sons to grow so they could play together like LeBron's doing with Bronny.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see. So, I mean, I guess we kind of sum up the Texans is that don't know what Bill O'Brien is doing. Deshaun is a dynamite player. We'll see what can happen. But he's still the best quarterback in that division. So let's move from a team that has the best quarterback in the division to a team that's kind of having issues. Maybe not issues, but where are they going to go with their quarterbacks? Jacksonville. What do you think their direction is?
Do they have one? Like they just released Leonard Fournette.
Yeah.
Like if you were having troubles at quarterback, like you definitely still want a good running back in the backfield. Like, you know, if you don't know what you're going to do at quarterback, so why now? I mean, I guess I don't work for the Jacksonville organization. I don't know what the internal workings are on there, but I don't know. Maybe don't do that.
Maybe they're seeing something we don't see.
I've been seeing productivity from him. I had a guy talking to me today. He was like, well, you know, he didn't have a great sophomore season. And I was like, well, you know, put him up against other backs. Like, his sophomore season was just fine. Like, it wasn't his usual numbers, you know, that we were accustomed to. But I don't know. Like, what is the quarterback situation there?
Well, they have old Minshew Mania.
That's right. They lose Nick Foles, right? So Foles goes to the Bears. So it kind of just, I mean, you got Minshew in there, but then you have randomly Josh Dobbs is in there.
Jake Luton, I mean, that's their rookie, but
some guy I've never heard of.
Who do you go with?
Well, I don't know. I guess because if you remember, it's like Josh Dobbs came from Pittsburgh, and I only know this because they had a lot of problems at quarterback last season.
Yeah.
The Steelers did.
Yeah.
And you got to see, you know, a variety of people get thrown in there. You had an incident with, what's his name? Almost getting killed with a helmet.
Yeah.
They trade Josh Dobbs, so they don't have him there anymore. He's in Jacksonville. He's gonna battle for the starting job with Minshew. They drafted Minshew, and then they drafted a quarterback this year. I don't know what the fuck is going on in Jacksonville.
They're really spreading out, and it's not like they're deep into contract with anybody. I mean, this is a pretty safe thing to do, though. It's not like they're fighting for, you know, division champions, or they're fighting for, you know, AFC championship, or even going to the Super Bowl
playoffs.
Even though they were there 2 years ago, 3 years
right,
ago.
Right, and they had a great defense that year. I remember they had a good run, and it was very inconceivable as it was because they came up against the Patriots finally, right? And lost.
Blake Bortles,
they beat the Steelers.
Yeah, they beat the Steelers. They had beat them twice that year, once in the regular season, once in playoffs, decisively.
Yeah.
Decisively. And then they just shit the bed against the Patriots.
Right.
They had that stellar defense. You know that all of the Pro Bowlers that were on that defense,
are gone.
6 of them, now gone.
Gone. I think a standout that I definitely remember is Jalen Ramsey. Now he's in LA.
Yeah. They had their 2 cornerbacks who were lights out.
Yeah, locked down.
So I don't. That just goes to show you how much can change.
In just a span of a couple of years.
Yeah.
And it's I don't even know where to go. I mean, we could talk about. I personally think you're gonna go with Minshew, right? I don't know what the guy they drafted this year is gonna show him, especially with no preseason. Not a legit training camp.
I mean, do you put Dobbs in, who's a bit more experienced.
I think you make it between those two, right?
Between Dobbs and Minshew?
In training camp, yeah. And Minshew's he's not proven to be great, but he's proven he's had good moments in the end of his rookie season. He's had good moments.
He's proven to be electric as a person, for sure.
And he's had moments at the quarterback position. He's had moments.
Yes. I think part of that is because
of the legend of Minshew?
Yes. I think part of that is just like
Isn't he the third?
Iconic. Yeah.
Okay.
He has this iconic personality. So it is amplified by his play even more. So or his play is amplified by his personality.
So what you're saying is that if he was not Gardner Minshew III, who has the epic mustache, who did some crazy shit in the locker room pregame when he was in college, that he'd just be like, eh.
Yeah. Yeah, he would be another quarterback.
I think I disagree. I think to an extent, you're right. Because, we have the legend of Gardner Minshew, and his play on the field in certain situations was like, oh my god, of course he did that. He's fucking Gardner Minshew. I think if he's not all those things, he still had to come in your rookie season and do some of the things that he did is still impressive as a rookie.
Taking over for Foles, who was
supposed to be the guy.
Yeah, this was very unexpected. You're just like, oh, I have to now lead this team.
Yeah.
And he did have some shining moments.
He did. And I mean, shit. If we're gonna talk right now, I'll take Minshew over Baker Mayfield in a heartbeat. Yeah, I said it.
Well, Baker's Gardner Minshew is what Baker wants to be. Just the personality.
Yeah, but it's too late for Baker.
Well, I mean, Baker's better than Minshew.
I'm still taking Gardner Minshew. Though.
Okay,
still taking him. I mean, if you put fucking Gardner Minshew with that Brown roster,
yeah,
I'm into it.
Too much star power.
I'm into it.
Too much star power.
It's not enough ego to go around.
That was already the problem before he's there.
You're right.
Too much star power. Right.
I guess I can't really attest to Gardner Minshew's humility, but oh well. So not a whole lot to talk about with Jacksonville. Let's move on. Let's go with Tennessee. I'll talk about Indianapolis a little bit in depth, so we can get to Tennessee really quick.
Yeah, let's hit Tennessee. I mean, things really changed for them once they hopped off of Mariota.
Yes, who's now in Vegas.
So Ryan Tannehill came in and really lit it up.
He did. A lot of trust from his coach, right?
Yeah.
I love Mike Vrabel, dude. That dude's a man's man. He's a player's coach.
He's a Belichick disciple.
Yeah, he's one of those. Right? So I guess the confidence he was able to instill in Tannehill, we got to see the Tannehill that the Miami Dolphins wish they had.
They couldn't allow him to operate at this. It wouldn't enable him to operate at this level.
Right. It helps when you have a fucking truck in the backfield.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Jesus.
The one thing I'll say that is that I don't like about Derrick Henry is his poop.
His poop dread.
His poop dread.
Is just one singular. He doesn't have dreadlocks. He just has dread.
It looks like a fucking poop back there coming out of his helmet.
He's Judge Dredd.
Looks like his helmet is taking a shit. Other than that, though, that dude's fucking...
The guy's the size of a defensive end.
And then he's running the ball.
And he's running, yeah.
I remember during the playoffs, they were showing his high school highlights where he ran for I don't know.
400 yards.
Yeah.
With 60 carries or something.
Something ridiculous like that. It's like that team never threw the ball.
Yeah. What's the point? Just let the guy run forever.
Do you think that they can, I don't know if they can have... The AFC right now is kind of in flux, besides KC. Right? You have Brady leaving the AFC East, so that division is kind of up for grabs. We'll get into that next week.
Yeah.
But, so Brady's gone. There's no Mannings that are left.
Yeah.
You got Lamar, yeah. You got Deshaun, yeah. But besides the Ravens and the Chiefs, it's if the Titans can duplicate the success they had last year and just keep that momentum of saying they were underdogs the whole time, and they can come in this year and be like, we're done being underdogs. We want to be the top dogs. We can win this division. They were in a fight with Houston last season to take that division.
So you're saying that Ryan Tannehill is in the same league as Deshaun Watson and
No, I didn't fucking
Lamar
No, I didn't
Jackson.
say. Okay, you're just saying that. You're trying to get me to argue with you. And I'll tell you what, I am going to argue with you. I didn't fucking say that.
You know? I mean...
I said that the AFC's in flux.
So he could be the guy.
He can't be the guy. He can be on a part of a team that can be the team. I mean, that's a beast squad. And like I said, I love the way Mike Vrabel is a player's coach. He's fucking in the locker room. He's hyping these guys up. He's talking them up to the media. He inspires them. He instills confidence in them. Like, he instills confidence in a guy like Ryan Tannehill, who was like a journeyman before that almost. And he has these, playing with Derrick Henry. Like, that's a great combination with someone that wasn't the guy, needed maybe something like that in the backfield. And now he can, it's a complementary pieces that you put together.
It's allowing him that...
freedom almost.
Yeah, that space to ball out.
Yeah. That's all I'm saying. No, he's not in the league with Deshaun Watson and Lamar Jackson.
He's a guy who last season did make plays.
He made plays.
He made plays, and it was maybe the running game wasn't working. And he himself took the game into his hands and made some plays.
Right.
So we'll see what they can conjure up this year. But I mean, I think as defenses go, they have the number 2 defense in that division.
Okay. Is it like a segue?
Yeah, this is a segue.
It's a segue.
Because, they have their safety, Kevin Byard. Byard? How do you say it? Byard. Kevin Byard. That guy is a very good safety, probably top 5 safety. But he really just leads. He was leading the league in interceptions at one point, and just the guy has great field vision.
Yes, which is important for that position.
Exactly. Speaking of safeties, Derrick Henry, there's a meme that was like, Derrick Henry turned Earl Thomas around so bad in that playoff game that he's just all messed up now. He's punching teammates, just getting, real friendly with his brother. I was seeing one of the top places that he might go is Philly. The city of brotherly love.
Oh, perfect. Perfect. You couldn't pick a better... I mean, you can't write this shit. No.
But it's the best defense in that division is Indianapolis.
Okay. I can hop on that, but I don't think their offense will be worth a shit next season. I'm sorry. Actually, no, I'm unapologetic. Yeah, a lot of it has to do with my hate for Philip Rivers. I think he's old, man. He's I hate to use the word washed up. He's such a competitor. He always has been. But he didn't look good last year against when he was playing with the Chargers. I'll say this: the last game he played against the Raiders last season, the dude looked terrible.
Well, he threw 3 picks?
Yeah, he threw 5, but 2 of them didn't count.
That's right.
Yeah, he threw 5. But he only played, he threw 3. And he just looked bad. And that was kind of I'm sure that a lot of those games where he looked like that it gave the Chargers the green light to be like, okay, yeah, no, sorry, dude.
Yeah, just we gotta...
Thank you for your service.
We gotta move on.
Yeah. Do you think he fits in Indianapolis?
I think, weirdly enough, I think he really kind of does. I mean, if we just look at the last 20 years of over 20 years of quarterbacks in Indianapolis. I mean, you had Peyton for the 90% majority of it.
Right. Then
really 60%.
And you move on to Andrew Luck.
You move right on to Andrew Luck, who
abruptly retires.
He does. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't he did 8 years. He had 8 years, and just he was injury prone. He was ready. So you're looking at these really just he kind of fits that persona a little bit to me, where he's just a stand-up guy, and it for me that just fits.
I always thought that knowing that he was probably not going to stay in LA, I thought that would be a good fit for him, and I don't often dwell on Philip Rivers. He's not often in my thoughts. Fuck that guy. But I was yeah, Indianapolis. And then when it happened, I wasn't surprised, shocked at all. That was a good move by Indianapolis, I think. They can kind of give him a place where he can end at the twilight of his career and maybe have a good season, maybe one at best, maybe this season. but I just don't see it. Like, Jacoby Brissett is not the quarterback Phillip Rivers is. He had mediocrity mostly last season.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's kind of what we've seen. Like, when he had started a couple games for the Patriots,
Yeah.
it wasn't like he was really... That's, of course, when he was younger. So
Right.
it's kind of hard to judge off of, I think it was like 1 or 2 games that he did.
I mean, he's a good backup. Like, he's a
Yeah.
guy you do want in your back pocket,
Yeah.
like, in case... Because, like I said, Phil is old, but I just don't see anything totally changing. It's like they swapped, but, like, not the same quarterback, obviously, but I think that they're not going to get a different result. You're still going to be battling in the middle of the season, but at the end of the season, you're going to see the Texans and the Titans kind of pulling away.
Maybe, but Phillip Rivers does bring a lot of insight, and his veteran status, honestly, is, I mean, pretty important. He definitely is not the greatest in big moments, but I think what he knows will be able to help Brissett, or if they bring in somebody else.
I think they might. I think because Brissett wants to start somewhere.
Yeah.
He wants to go somewhere and start.
He doesn't seem like a starter to me. He seems like a lifelong backup to me, which is not bad.
Still going to get paid.
You get paid, but...
He wants to play. I get it. And I hate that we've wasted this much time on the Jaguars especially. But we do got to move on to the AFC West.
Well, I kind of guess we went... So... Phillip Rivers is coming from L.A.
Well, before we get to the AFC West, I want you to pick a division winner. You already said Texans.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you said Texans.
Division winner. Yeah, I think it's going to be Texans again. With the Jaguars aren't going to do anything. They're going to be figuring out their quarterback situation. That's going to be rough. And the Colts are the dark horse. They
could go either way.
They could go either way. They could go as far as fighting for the division title to me.
With the Titans in there.
With the Titans, maybe. It all depends. It all depends. Like,
will Tannehill regress?
Will Tannehill regress? Will Rivers work in their scheme? I think the only one that is really...
ironclad is the Houston.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I can agree with you there. I think the second and third place in that division is a toss-up between Indianapolis and Tennessee. Okay, you segueing Phillip Rivers. He comes from LA Chargers. That is probably the first time I've said LA Chargers without having to think about it.
I still think about it all the time. I hate it.
I hate it too.
Like, how many franchises have moved like in our lifetime that is still just like strange to think about? It's definitely still the St. Louis Rams.
It's definitely, for me, always going to be Oakland.
Always going to be the Oakland Raiders. Always going to be the San Diego Chargers.
San Diego Chargers. St. Louis Rams. Yeah, all that. I'm with you.
I don't...
Washington Redskins.
Washington football team.
I know. I can't do it. Okay, so the Chargers, right? We're talking to Rod Taylor here.
Maybe.
He's going to come. I think, I was reading a report today on ESPN that was saying that, like, that's going to be their guy.
He's going to be the front runner.
That's going to be their guy. And they're excited. Like, they are not playing to, they're not going to start their the rookie quarterback because they think they have a shot at winning the division. Like, they really do think that. Although today also word come out that Derwin James, I think meniscus tear or something. So he's out for the season.
It's rough.
He's going to need surgery.
That's rough.
Big deal to your defense to lose a guy like Derwin James.
Yeah, they got Bosa.
They got Bosa, and they got, what's his name, Melvin Ingram on the other side, right?
Yeah.
So that defense, formidable. I have to see it twice a year. So I hate lining up against those guys.
Yeah.
That being said, though, like, as the story with any football team that has a good defense, it's hard to be a good defense for 4 quarters when your offense sputters.
Yeah.
Okay? And so that's going to be the thing. Can Tyrod Taylor kind of come in here and kind of jolt? You like that?
No.
Okay. Jolt that Charger offense in a way that Phillip used to do?
I don't know. I think Tyrod Taylor is like, the team he came from. He came from the Bills.
Right.
Where he really got his starts in. I think Josh Allen is like a better Tyrod Taylor.
Okay.
So their play styles, I feel like, are a little bit the same.
Yeah.
So I feel
with Josh Allen kind of edging him out.
Yeah. So I feel like we're going to kind of see the same things that we saw in Buffalo from him.
I kind of am excited to see what happens, but I don't think they will. I think they're going to have a similar maybe a slightly better season they did with Phil last year. I see them placing third in the division. Third.
Okay.
I see fourth. We're going right to fourth right now. We're going to last place in the AFC West.
Broncos.
Denver, yeah.
Yeah.
Denver also has a wonky quarterback situation going on.
What are they doing with their quarterback?
That's it. They got Locke.
Oh my goodness, that's right.
And that's like that's
that
about it.
Is that a lock?
It's okay. You can do okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, you still got some good guys on D. You got Von Miller over there.
But he's getting up there.
He's getting up there, but he's still
a beast. He's not one of those big guys who is hard to keep the weight and hard to like stay strong. He's always been that quick position.
He's fast off the line. And I mean, obviously, this is not the defense we're talking about that won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
This is still a good defense, but it's the same story with the Chargers. It's like this offensive shuffle they're doing with Vic Fangio. Like, you know, I don't know what's going on offense right now. All I know for sure is like I'm not worried. As a Raider fan, like I'm not worried about Denver. I'm only fucking worried about Kansas City. Okay. And I
guess that's all we really need to talk about the Broncos, though. Just I don't know what's going on.
We don't know what's happening.
They're there.
We know what their defense can do.
We know their defense is there. Their coaching is.
They're in a rebuild. We can say that. I think if they don't want to admit that, which the Chargers should. Even though they're going with Terod and they think they have high hopes, the Denver, I think they haven't come out and said that. But let's be real, they haven't conceded. You know that they're not in a rebuild. Yeah. They are. So I guess we'll save KC for last. Let's talk about the Raiders. Okay. And my biggest thing, obviously I can tell you a lot, but I won't spend the whole time talking, just me. I'm going to throw some stuff off of you as well. But this offensive roster we have coming into this season is probably the best one we've had since the 2016 season.
I was going to say it's probably better.
You think it's better?
I was going to say it's probably better. I think it's probably the best one you guys have had in...
the Derek Carr era.
Even before that.
Oh, well, yeah, you're right, because before the Derek Carr era, it was since the Gannon days? Yes. Is that what we're saying?
Honestly, yes. I think this is the best defense best offense you've had in over a decade.
I think so, too. And the crazy thing to me is that Derek Carr throws up amazing stats last season. And I say amazing, I'm not just jerking him off.
It was his best statistical year.
We still, don't make the playoffs.
Yep.
Doesn't reflect on the record. This is the shitty part about it.
We got second in the division last year.
We were playing for a wild card spot.
Oh, yeah, a lot of things had to happen.
Yep. So I think we were second in the division, but KC just ran away with it.
That's right, yeah.
We sputtered at the end. Mm-hmm. And for me, with Derek Carr, okay, so what the league does is they establish a quarterback percentage, average. Here is your average quarterback percentage. And then from there...
For completion percentage?
For completion. Completion percentage, yeah. I'm sorry, I said. Completion percentage. And from there they say, okay, these are where these quarterbacks ranked in terms of how many percentage points above the average they were.
Okay.
Yeah. Derek Carr was number 4.
Yeah.
The fourth most percentage points above the NFL average. Now, that saying is even though he was only throwing for... 6 or something yards, 6.7 yards of completion.
Yeah.
That's still more than Drew Brees.
Oh, yeah. We've talked about how Drew Brees
throws 6.5.
He doesn't really throw that ball down there.
No, but he still has his success. And what I'm saying with the Raiders is that, if Derek can keep doing what he's doing, where the Raiders need the most help is on the defensive side of the fucking ball.
Easily.
Because Derek's moving the ball. He's moving the ball. He's consistent. He's completing passes, and now you throw Ruggs in there, and now we have a deep threat. We have the Antonio Brown kind of playmaker that we lacked when Antonio Brown
was supposed to be
Brown.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I don't think Derek is the problem. I really don't. And I've been Team Derek, and there's a lot of Raider fans that are hopping on and back off. I've consistently been on the Derek Carr train.
I know you have. I just think that. Like we were talking about earlier with injuries and how it just really gets to you. Mm-hmm. I think that's what it is still, is that mental break when he got hurt in 2016. I mean, he was having a crazy good year.
He was.
And then,
he was having an MVP season.
Yeah. He was having a crazy good season, then he gets hurt, and I think that's what's still lingering. So I'm still on the like not sure train. Like I'm not sure if it's hard to get over. You can't just be like, all right, yeah, you got hurt, hop back out there, do it again.
Yeah. It's not easy.
It's hard to do, but I think that's part of the mental block that I think he has.
Right. But we can both agree this offense should be explosive.
It should be explosive, but
I mean, we haven't even talked about
again
Josh Jacobs.
Well, of course. I mean, his rookie season was
phenomenal.
The best Raiders rookie running back season.
Yeah.
So it was phenomenal, but like you were saying, it's hard to go out there and perform consistently. Like if your defense is only out there a couple minutes of the game.
Right, and it's also hard to be in a division with the last team we're going to talk about right now.
Yeah.
The Kansas City Chiefs. Do you think the Chiefs repeat?
Yeah.
You do?
Easily.
Easily,
that is the front runner for the Super Bowl. Not just getting to the Super Bowl, but being a Super Bowl winner. It's...
Pat Mahomes is a fucking walking cheat code, man.
Pat Mahomes, I mean, if there's a guy who deserves that kind of contract, that record-breaking $500 million, it's him. I mean, what's the last athlete that we can... any athlete that had won a Super Bowl this young or won a championship this young, got a huge contract, and then just had that raw talent, had the kind of scope and vision, and really invested in his future this early. Like, he bought part of the Royals. Like, he's a part owner.
Right, he's
of the Royals
businessman now too.
Yeah, he's taking care of himself and his future. Like, where have we seen that before?
I don't think we have.
I don't think we've seen something like that.
No, because some of the greatest athletes didn't play in an era where like this was a thing. Because I was gonna, let's talk about Jordan, but Jordan wasn't making that money in the 80s.
Yeah.
He wasn't winning titles that young. Jordan didn't win a title until like he was in the league for like 7 or 8 years.
Yeah.
So, I mean, on this roster too, with that raw talent, it's not fair to have the speed of Tyreek Hill and, the beast tight end skills that fucking Travis Kelce brings to the table.
Just a brutish, he's just a huge guy.
Right.
He's been setting records. Can he make a 5th 1,000-yard season in a row? We'll see. But, I mean, the guy setting records, everybody on the team they just stand out.
And what else is there to say? Like, they're the Super Bowl champions, and they're the favorite to win again. Like, a lot of times teams are favored to win the Super Bowl again, but no one really buys that. People can say, yeah, I think the Chiefs will win 2 in a row, maybe 3 in a row. That's not common in the NFL at all. This isn't the NBA.
No, not at all. I mean...
Just to get back to one.
It's because, okay, let's think of young quarterbacks who have won a Super Bowl, in recent history.
Russell Wilson?
We had Ben Roethlisberger.
Ben.
So those two guys, you still... And I think part of that might be because they were so young. They both won in their second season.
Mm-hmm.
And so maybe those two are because they're so young that you couldn't really tell how they're going to be for the rest of their career. But Mahomes, he's in that perfect window.
He is.
Where it's just he's established himself and now he has this huge contract and okay, this year was not a fluke because last year was not a fluke.
Nope.
And so next year, most likely, will not be a fluke. So he's in that perfect position. Like you're saying, I don't think we've ever seen somebody like that just oh yeah, I could see them going right back.
Yep. So I think we're in agreement with KC takes the division. I think depending... It sucks because I don't think anyone can compete with that roster. So it sucks to be in that division because I think the Raiders could get to the playoffs. I think they could win a division if it wasn't for the KC being in their division. Because I think they're second in the division. That's non-debatable to me. I don't see the Chargers or the Denver throwing in to get second. Essentially, we're playing for second right now.
I see the Chargers giving you trouble for second.
Okay.
I see that. I can't put you at a clear cut Casey's 1, Las Vegas is 2. I can't say that.
I think the Raiders can get into a wild card slot.
I could see it. I could see it, but I don't know. The Chargers will just they're a question mark. So it's kind of like the Colts. We'll just have to see how they really come out and put everything together. But I think it's a possibility. So right now, 2 and 3 for me. Chargers, Raiders, not sure, and then Denver down at the bottom.
Down at the bottom. Okay. Well, that concludes the AFC West, and that take us right into my favorite segment is always Hot Route.
Perfect.
Okay, I got some hot routes for Ed today. We're gonna keep it in the 2 divisions we talked about. All right. So the first one is who's gonna have a better season, Tyrod Taylor or Phillip Rivers?
Man, this is kind of what we were talking about. The 2 question marks that we're not sure of.
That's why I asked it.
Okay. A better season. And with that, I'm counting like the team record.
Yeah, whatever you want. It's an objective answer.
Yeah. The division that the Chargers are playing in, I think, is more clear cut. So it's not going to be as competitive. So I think they'll get 2 wins on the Broncos. So I think statistically and honestly record-wise, I think that Tyrod Taylor does better.
Okay.
Phillip Rivers is going to have to be fighting through a couple other teams to
make a fucking imprint.
Yeah. To really make his mark. It's not like he's trying to make his mark as a Colts great or anything, but to be the guy that he's a competitor.
Right.
He's a huge competitor, so he's really going to have to battle Houston and Tennessee. And, I mean, maybe Jacksonville. We'll see what they can do. But I think his season is going to be much tougher than Tyrod Taylor, so I think he's not going to perform as well.
Okay. So, next one. We just talked about the last season Derek Carr had with his stats he put up.
Yeah.
That, you could put those... I mean, we agree that they're great stats.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was crazy. Last year, people were balling out. You had old Winston throwing for 5,000 yards. Dak almost threw for 5,000 yards too, right?
Do you know
he was 100 yards short.
Something like that.
It's crazy. Derek was balling out too. It was wild last year.
So if Derek does that again, but they don't make the playoffs, do you finally move on from Derek Carr?
Well, I think that is already in the Raiders' mind, going with Mariota.
But I
don't think they're like, oh, we're starting Mariota. We're this is the guy, but they're keeping their options open. I've heard
dreadful things about Mariota in training camp. Dreadful things. I'm not talking about this season. I'm talking about
yes.
At the end of next season, it's hey, you didn't get to the playoffs again. You still threw up these great numbers, but fuck off. Is that what they're going to do?
So if he puts up great numbers still?
Yeah, still.
No. You hold on to him because it's I'm trying to think of people who were overshadowed by other people in their division. It's like
the Jets.
It's like we, The Last Dance came out. We're talking about these 2 three-peats from Jordan. They demolished some of the greatest teams of all time.
Right.
Not saying
I know you're not.
Derek Carr is one of the greatest of all time, but he's solid. And you have this Patrick Mahomes just steamrolling the division.
Right.
You're not going to get a once-in-a-generation kind of player just to bring you back. You have to keep fighting, and he has clearly been the best quarterback for the Raiders.
In 20 years.
At least.
Yeah.
At least.
Yeah. Okay, and then I guess the last one here, of the 2 divisions we talked about, the West and the South, AFC, which coach's job is the safest? And who is on the hottest seat?
Ooh, okay.
So safest, I can answer that for you. I want to know who your hot seat guy is, but I think the safest we can agree is Andy Reid.
Andy Reid is absolutely secured. I'm so glad that he won a Super Bowl. He was about to be in that league of, man, I wish he won one. That.
He just signed a new contract for 6 years. Actually, I just got that update.
Huh.
Andy Reid did.
Well, perfect.
Yeah.
So he's going to be there for a while.
Yeah.
But I mean, we're not going to go down and list all of them, but we're talking about Vrabel a little bit. He was performing well. I think he has his team together pretty well. It's not that Gruden is, maybe he's not the most in the hot seat, but his seat's getting a little warm. But Denver is in a rebuilding period. And I'm just not sure the direction they want to go.
I don't think anybody does. I don't think Denver knows.
I
don't think John Elway knows.
Like, honestly, the Jaguars, everybody in the South, honestly, seems solid.
Pretty safe.
Maybe not safe, but that's where they're gonna be. They're solid, but definitely because it's Vic Fangio
In Denver,
right?
yeah.
I don't know if he's the answer.
I don't know either.
I don't know if he's the answer. Yeah. So yeah, everybody in the AFC South it's not like they're fantastic coaches, amazing head coaches, but they're kind of established.
You don't want to say Bill O'Brien's on this list?
I really don't. I
know a lot of Texan fans that would say he needs to be.
I just think I don't think he's on the hot seat as a coach. I think he just needs to take a step back.
Bring a GM in.
And just be a coach.
Yeah, that's it.
I think he's a solid coach, but the choices that he's making, what is he going to put himself in the hot seat? I was waiting for you to ask me that so I could say that.
All right. Okay. Well, that's it. That's all the hot routes I got for you. I had a follow-on in case you answered a question a certain way, but you didn't. But I guess I'll throw it in real quick. We have a little bit of time. If Derek had to go somewhere else, if they booted him out, where do you think his best fit is?
Derek Carr's best fit. Let's see. Somewhere. I'd like to see him in the NFC. I'd like to see him in the NFC and...
Don't answer that. It's gonna hurt my feelings. It's just NFC. I'll take that. I'll take just the NFC because I feel bad even talking about it, but it's on my mind as a Raider fan. I don't want to see it, but it's there. Yeah, it's in the back of my head. But we'll leave it there. Hey, I want to see him in the NFC.
No,
cool.
I'm gonna answer.
Stop.
I'm gonna answer.
Don't you fucking say it.
All right, I have an answer though. It is the Vikings.
Okay, that concludes our show today. I'm done talking about this. I betrayed my fandom. But that's why I'm a real fan, because I can be a harsh critic and talk about realities.
Yeah.
But no, in real talk, we're going to go ahead and dip out of here. Thanks everyone for listening, and we'll be back next week to finish up the AFC, and then football will start, and that's going to be very exciting.
We'll see how it goes.
All right. Thanks for stopping by. Thank you for listening to another episode of Almost Agreeable. You can catch all new episodes on Tuesdays and Thursdays. If you enjoyed the podcast, please like, rate, and subscribe. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Almost Agreeable.